All right, hi everybody. It is the 15th today, which means that we are roughly about halfway through the month. And this year, I am doing a little bit of reorganizing. I'm also probably going to be doing a little bit of graphic design work on some of the overlays. You know, every year I kind of like to change them up a little bit. And I also need a few probably for some other stuff. But anyway, let's talk today about just what we are going to be doing for this video and the other videos this year, because I want to keep reviews and testing in one category of video. I want news days to be our, talk about global news, talk about JP news, and discuss about its meaning, kind of like yesterday we had the Reagan news drop. And then there's a couple other types of videos I want, and today we're starting with a new one, which is basically a bi-monthly look back at the stuff that has come out since that time, talk about what some of the headlines are on the JP side, and kind of discuss where some updates are, because I've always say, hey, I want to do, this is my initial review of this character. What is it slightly later after we've seen some data and some testing? What does it look like later? So that's what this video is supposed to be. That's what the bi-monthly videos are supposed to be, and hopefully you'll find them interesting and kind of neat. So we're also just going to run through these in terms of headlines, and I'm hoping to keep these videos relatively short, minus the fact that we have to explain the first one. All right, so unit progress report. We're going to talk about the units that have come out since New Year's. I mean, since last year, we've gotten Sephiroth, we've gotten Yuffie, and, Rizal and all of that. But how about since the New Year? So New Year was Roy Mustang and also this guy, too. And where are they in the current meta? And Bradley as well. So first off, seen some more data with people who do have Bradley, and Bradley is performing quite well. He is definitely a strong character. He is a really good DPS, and he's quite capable. However, he does have a couple of confirmed weaknesses. First off, against range characters, he doesn't particularly last that well. Not impossible, but especially if the map is big, it doesn't favor him incredibly well. On the Earth Elemental teams, one of the better teams that I saw perform was Rugia plus him plus Queen Macherie, which doesn't surprise me, as that's a generally strong 140 team on JP right now. And he was good there, but just because it was a larger range map that people have been testing on for Guild Wars and such, that is the current monthly test map. It kind of favored more range units, and a couple of weaknesses were, once you took out a range unit out of that Earth Elemental team, its performance did go down, especially against other teams with incredibly high range. Some were not. A lot of matches against certain elements weren't super clear cut, and probably one of the most noteworthy things is that an entire team of Earth 140s versus basically a team of Wind 120s, it is not even still a contest. It's not even remotely, with the extra stats, a shot in the dark for Earth to win. Earth just loses that incredibly hard, which isn't surprising, but just, again, this is more of an update. The other thing that I think is really noteworthy about this guy is AP concerns. If he runs out of AP, his DPS drops incredibly fast. And so if the other team can just kind of outlast him, it can be really, really bad. It depends on hate management, especially in auto. But Bradley is a strong character, but he isn't going to take Earth by himself into an upper echelon. He is definitely not a must-have character, what I thought. Very powerful character, but not a must-have. And so, yeah. Next up, let's talk about Wings of Destiny Stern. And this is a character that I thought the world of when he first came out. And, he's such a cool design. He's a story character. I really wanted this character to be good. And, I mean, I haven't found success with him. I haven't found a lot of success. I've had a lot of difficulty trying to get his AI to behave the way I want. I've only recently got him to 120. Something that I want to cover real quick. New Year's, they announced a campaign where if you can get this guy to 120 and get him into full, into reincarnation, his reincarnation cost for some stuff is cut in half. And even as a mid-tier, buying most of the resources that I could without spending like an incredible amount of resources to try and save some. This is just, it isn't working. It's just really difficult to get a character all the way up to 140 so quickly without, just, maybe being collaboration and you have 4 characters, so you have a ton of the orbs for that kind of stuff. With this, it's been a nightmare kind of thing and really disappointing. But as for Wing Stern, I just haven't really got his AI to a place where I'm happy with it. His DPS has seemed also incredibly low, so I'm still trying to figure out what's best for him. And I think I need to, I've just been so busy with other stuff that I haven't really had enough time. And I think I'm getting to the point where I just need to look at what somebody else is doing and just kind of copy that. Because right now I'm feeling out of my depth with this character. I've faced him a couple of times in Arena and he's done high DPS, but I am still, again, just trying to get him to 120 in the last few weeks. And even then, it's not as successful. I feel like overall my ice team has been weaker. So yeah, between these two characters, Bradley I think is the better one, and this character I think it's going to take more time to figure out whether or not he's super good or not. Right now I'm just not super convinced at all. So yeah, more to talk about that, but let's move on to the second one, which is units specialties finding success. And this is a more positive topic. And you'll note I didn't include Roy Mustang in the previous one because Roy kind of slots into the second topic. Roy is finding a really good amount of success in a different spot, and it's not purely fire. He's not bad in fire, he's quite good in fire, but he's actually way better in glove specialties. The team that he is being placed with is Swimsuit Helena and also Zoma, and the 3 of these magical energist type characters that all use glove have the bonus of using certain newer vision cards that synergize specifically with those types of thing, and it's actually quite powerful. There's a lot of sustain in this group, there's a lot of magic power, and with water teams and Celeste being less common, there's a lot of room for potentially mages to get in and start dealing damage. But yeah, it's a really interesting combination right now of basically glove type jobs working together. So for people who are wondering, the Zoma plus Swimsuit Helena and Zoma, Swimsuit Helena, and Roy Mustang is a really interesting combination. It's also split out over elementals, but it's one of the job type or weapon types, I should say, out there that the vision cards are actually line up really nicely with now. And it should be a consideration also because the Espers kind of work out as well, since you can find a good thunder magic summon, a good ice magic summon. And then you also have Bahamut to round it out. So it's actually really, really good. And from what I've heard, it's quite, and seen thus far, pretty recommendable. That comes into the next thing I want to talk about, which is just jumping a little bit over to fist characters. There has been an explosion of more fist characters on JP, and the vision cards range anywhere from an 18% agility card to just human killer to a ton of other stuff that's worked really well. And it works. For people who are curious, it works. Whether you go the Alphonse and Edward combination from FMA, or you do Snow plus a couple other fist characters like Preen and whatnot, the elements space out really nicely, and there's enough fist vision cards. One of the other things that really makes this work too is the new Chaos Esper Bahamut, who is just a all-around amazing physical based summon that works with any physical unit, and it really does add a lot of extra firepower to this comp, and it gives another good physical esper finally for strike units, which is cool, kind of thing. It is, again, one of those things where you are looking at a lot of premium stuff. You're going to need, you know, very, very specific vision cards, or and start working on them. Like, for instance, this vision card, one of the key ones that you'll need. Thankfully, it is permanent, but it like this right now don't have enough job variousness. Anyway, to really separate out their vision cards like sword, which is much harder to do. So this works really, really good right now, and I do want to throw out a recommendation for gloves and fists. With these job vision cards, there's enough support for them nowadays, and they are definitely worth a look-see. I'll try and find some more evidence and videos of people who have been using them in the near future, but for now, I did want to recommend it. All right, jumping up, we're going to go through these next 4 much quicker. So first off, avatar accounts, not really feasible anymore. What I mean by that is all elements. With the inclusion of JP of having level 140 units now, I think that globalers should really pick specialty elements, be that alternating ones such as fire, wind, lightning, and light, or dark, water, earth, and ice, or a combination of 4 or 4 elements that match up with 90 cost vision cards, as well as just potentially what you have on your account. As speaking as a player who has basically stopped a lot, not all, but a lot of his spending, I have definitely gone down to much more moderate, almost just cutting off my spending. Doing these kind of like all elemental accounts just isn't feasible unless you're a really pretty heavy spender on the game anymore. So my word of caution for globalers, start thinking about which elements you really want to do, and realize that it's okay that you can't do all elements and that you will miss out on some stuff. But like for me recently, I've just decided that I can't do earth anymore. It is not feasible with the amount of resources that are given out versus the amount that you get if you spend, and I'm just not interested in spending in this for other reasons that I'll talk about in a different video type. So think about that. And speaking of that, just double costs and limiteds are on the rise on JP for the last, well, since 3rd anniversary, basically. The number of, now that we are seeing 100 cost limited characters, collaboration characters, and more 90 cost VCs as well, the cost of the game is shooting up and up. It is a problem. I don't think most players on JP are super happy with it. So I'm sure globalers aren't happy with it either, but definitely think about where and what banners you want to spend your resources on in the future. Next up, Angry Bahamut, or Chaos Bahamut. Both its vision card and VC look pretty good. If Global should be past the part where Chaos Ramu is out now and has been potentially gotten by people who wanted it. So the next Chaos Esper is either Dark Ifrit or this guy. And if you were in the market for a new Dark Esper, definitely save up for Bahamut. Just a overall stronger, more versatile Esper that can be used on a lot of different stuff. I mean, it's not even the vision card thing. Obviously, fire elemental people who want something for fire elemental characters, Dark Ifrit is the way to go. And that is also not a terribly bad VC for Thunder either, if you're doing Thunder physical. But here's the thing. I really recommend this Esper over Dark Ifrit if you were even in the market, because again, more double cost recently has made the game more expensive, so I think that most people are probably not going to be in the market, but that's what this video is for, updated impressions. And last but not least, end of the month diversity plans. Now, JP is going to have a couple of really interesting weeks coming up. First off, I mean, last week we ended up getting a fairly big batch of characters getting reincarnation ability, but with the future, with another 100 cost character, even though it is not a limited time one, this is another possibility for a directionality to go. However, Reagan has some stiff competition for whether or not he'll actually be worth it, because as we know from the producer live letter, a mass number of characters are going to be getting upgraded in the 4th week, including Jum, Lucio, I do believe Eliza as well is in there, Astrius, and Barris. And here's the thing, Ice is not short of great physical units already, so unless Reagan is incredibly stacked in an absolutely insane unit, which, slight video maker note, Reagan in FFE was fire and ice elementals, so him being ice elemental is fine, in my opinion. But anyway, he is... Whether or not he's going to be good enough is quite dubious, and while he will be a 140 character, it might just be better to wait out the long way and just go Eliza 140, wait for Elias 140, and Barris is also getting his 140. But that kind of brings me back to the point of, like, JP at the end of this month is probably going to have a lot of interesting news for Globalers and which way they want to take their reincarnations in the future, as whether Barris, Astrius, or Jum get an absolutely amazing master ability too, as well as, sorry, not just the master ability too, but also the reincarnation is super worthwhile for hoarding resources. I think it'll be a really interesting, not only this upcoming week for Globalers to keep an eye on, but also the 4th week of the month, because it will dictate a lot of stuff to potentially effectively plan out your resources and be much better in the future. Again, this is really trying to save the mid-level spenders and the low-level spenders. Whales, who cares? They'll just do everything and spend way too much money and probably regret it a little bit, maybe. But yeah, I think for this will be a really important time for a lot of people to kind of get Globalers to really start planning out where they want to spend their resources, where they should save, and what orbs they should be trying to generate for the future. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of been the mid-month review for the first bit of the year. Definitely concerned about the higher costs, talked about character performance and everything like that. So hopefully, let me know what you think of this video content, as obviously this is the first time we're doing it, so format could change a little bit more in the future. Less headlines, more headlines, hopefully not more. I think this is the most I would ever do. And hopefully I'll try and be able to keep it a little bit shorter in the future. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you for Monday for global news and Reagan impressions later this week. See ya.